Sneak dissing, we don't see the competition. I drop off a ransom note that your art is missing, nigga.
Pay us in full with the money, or she gon' get her fingers clipped off like Lil Sonny,
MRecktv.
If you're looking for a new streaming service, the streamboss.com is the place for you. And you can also get $5 off if you use the MRecktv promo code. It's $20 for the month. So we're gonna go into that commercial real quick.
You hear something?
Have you guys heard of StreamBoss? It's a new IPTV provider that gives you over 5,000 channels for only $20 a month.
Oh, cool!
$20 for live TV, local TV, movies, TV shows, pay-per-views, and so much more.
Huh? What?
If you have a Fire Stick, smart TV, or streaming device, then head on over to thestreamboss.com to begin your setup process.
That's Michael, or that's, you know what I'm saying, that's always going to be naming, you know what I'm saying, like, and Randy and all that. Like, how does that feel to have such profound, like, that legacy to a certain degree?
It's a gift and a curse, right? And I'm interested to see where it goes. But I don't think we understood what we had literally until TCAs.
MRecktv.
Do y'all remember that?
Yeah, the TCAs changed the game. The TCAs changed the game. Explain to them what the TCAs are really quick before you tell you.
Okay. So the TCAs, right, is this big, there's this big, maybe like week-long luncheon for every network on television. It's called the Television Critics Association. So all of the critics that talk about all of the different shows that are coming out, they all come to this one thing. And a lot of times the networks will bring the actors of said shows to kind of garner a little more attention, get people speaking about it a little more, just to kind of build the fan the flame of whatever they're building for whatever show. So they invited us this year instead of the regular cast, the Keemas, Bubs, the McNultys. They invited the 4 kids.
MRecktv.
So we're there, and by this time, like the screeners of this show, and mind you, they did something that they don't usually do. So usually for screeners, they'll send like 1 or 2 episodes. They'll send like, whatever episodes they feel are their strongest ones to the different critics, and just to get what they think about it, etc. This time, HBO were like, we can't decide what episode is the strongest, and if you watch it out of context, it'll pull how strong the entire show is. So they sent the entire season out to all of the critics, which caused the biggest bootlegging of our season.
Hysteria.
A hysteria. But that's a whole nother story.
I'll say real quick, I was walking down the street in Flatbush and I saw, I hadn't seen the show yet. I was walking down the street in Flatbush and this bootlegger had my face on a DVD in the street. And I was like, wait, is this? He was like, this the Wire. You ever seen it? I'm like, nigga, that's me on the cover of the bag. Give me that shit. And I took the DVD from him, and that's how I saw the episodes of The Wire for the first time.
Yeah. So I don't think we understood. We didn't understand what it was. Again, our first time walking through TCA, me and Julito worked with Spike Lee prior to, but Spike. If you guys know Spike is somebody who's like, he's constantly on the move. His mind is always running. He has a million witty things to say. Spike stopped in his tracks, came up to us and sat and was like, yo, what y'all did, you don't even understand. And I'm like, you've seen it? We haven't seen anything. You've seen it? Yo.
If one of y'all got the picture PTR just so people could see that moment, because we documented that moment. Spike asked for a picture with us.
With us, like, yo, can I get a picture with y'all?
Yeah,
son.
like one of the
So
pictures.
the way that I knew that the show was going to be something bigger than life.
MRecktv.
We're in the room. They're about to announce the show, you know, that the show's coming out for the season. We're about to see the trailer for the first time. Shit looks crazy. And right, Chris Albrecht goes up there. He's talking about the show and blah, 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 whatever. And then he comes down and stands right next to Maestro. And he whispers in Maestro's ear, "Snitch, bitch." All of us heard it, and we're looking at him like, what? And then we think about it like, yo, he even seen it. He's hyped. The joint lights go down. We see the trailer. They playing fucking Ball of Confusion. Boom, 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 boom.
That trailer was so fire.
Yo,
that trailer was so fire, bro.
I tell you, nigga, we thought we were the Beatles. Nigga, the whole room erupted. It was crazy, bro. It was crazy.
MRecktv.
Kudos to y'all brothers, man. Y'all did something very, 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 very good in this world. Like at such a young age, it was amazing too. So, you know, that part, yeah. So, you know.
All right, we're gonna keep the flow rolling. Mez, what's up, family?
What's going on, y'all, man? Big fan. I actually just finished rewatching the series. I want to say maybe a couple weeks ago. And question for y'all is, what was it? Well, I guess being in the city of Baltimore back then, you know, since the show has ended, have y'all, you know, maintained a connection with that city? Have y'all been back? That's mainly my question.
MRecktv.
I love Baltimore, man. Baltimore is like my second, third home, man. But Baltimore, this is a thing. Baltimore had a rep prior to, you know, us going there because of the show, and, you know, people just held Baltimore in this like kind of aggressive, kind of horrible way that going into it, I was nervous. You know what I'm saying? I'm from Brooklyn. I'm from the streets, but, you know, Brooklyn compared to some of these places, you know, it's a little different. You know?
They tried to hit us with a scared straight moment. Like brought us all in when we first got out there. Had my bro JD Williams and a bunch of the other cast coming and was like, listen, they don't call it Baltimore Murderland for nothing. This is the streets. It's crazy out
here. But then I got on set, and, you know, the trailers would be parked like blocks and blocks away from where we actually shot because there's no space, right? It's like, imagine trying to park a trailer. If you've ever seen a trailer, they're huge. And imagine trying to park a trailer on like a New York City block, right? It's very hard to do. So we would have to walk through the neighborhoods to get from the trailer to the set. And yo, people would show love, man. I mean, at first they didn't know us, so, you know, they would be like, "Oh, y'all the new kids on The Wire." They would like be talking to us like we were family because this show to them was home. And
I actually read that. I read that in an article about the show.
Yeah, they would. You know, I know Tris got some stories, and Man, of course, but like these people treated us like they took care of us. You know what I'm saying? Because y'all don't realize we would be shooting in the middle of these drug zone places, right? So we would be fake selling drugs while the drug dealers were around us waiting for us to stop. And every time we would say cut, they would go to work. We would say action. They knew to step back. Then we, you know what I'm saying? It was a rotation.
The funniest shit, I remember there was one joint, there was one scene we were doing, and the cops, mind you, this is how Baltimore was at the time. Like, the drug dealers knew that it was just like the show. The drug dealers knew the cops knew the drug dealers, niggas knew what niggas was doing. They would just literally be like, "Hey, listen, you know, we shooting the show real fast. We just need y'all to leave real fast. Like, I know what y'all doing. We not trying to bother y'all. We need to shoot this. They just bought this for a couple hours." There was one time that I guess dude didn't. He was just fed up and he was like, "Man, fuck this shit, man. I don't even watch The Wire, no way. Niggas trying to get money out here, bro." And just walked off.
That's wild.
But that's how it was. Like, we were really like, I remember like a lady, I think it was me, Benga, who plays Chris Partlow. We were all like doing a scene where we're in the streets. Some lady comes out and she's like, "Y'all shooting the wire?" We like, "Yeah." She's like, "Are y'all hungry? I just cooked some chicken. Y'all can come in and get some," nigga, and invited us in to eat. And this shit was fire. Like, nigga, it's literally like like we were all family there.
And also the places where we shot, the homes we shot in. Like Naaman's house was somebody's real house.
Somebody's real crib.
And they would like put them up, while we shot, so they didn't have to. So they weren't like, they would put them in hotels while we were shooting. So they would take care of them, but for the most part, they would be there. You know what I'm saying? And they would be there watching, and they were like really kind people. And with Naaman's house, we spent a few scenes in there. So I got to know them, and they got to know us, and they opened their homes to us. And it was really a beautiful process to be a part of. Man, you got some?
I mean, that y'all kind of nailed it a little bit. The only thing I could think of, no, seriously, the only thing I could think of is it wasn't even something that I experienced for myself. I think it was something that happened, I guess, days before we were doing a scene. Is pretty much like a drug raid happened right in the middle of shooting or something. Like cops came and everything, like in between the takes. So they had to kind of like go through that. But like that was the beauty of it, being from Maryland, a little bit more Southern Maryland, which is kind of closer to DC. I'm kind of always in a way going to have my hand in Baltimore or be in Baltimore for one reason or another. So I'm really honored to have, been a part of something that I can, also call somewhat my hometown.
Yeah, man. I definitely. I've shot a few things out in Baltimore. Still to this day. So yeah, Baltimore is definitely like a second home to all of us. They've opened their arms to us, and we have accepted the graciousness. I think the only people in Baltimore that don't like us are like the higher ups, like the guys in the offices and all of that, because they feel like we probably portrayed Baltimore in a bad way. But all we did was tell the truth. If they don't like the truth, then I mean, it is what it is.
That's a fact. Thanks for that question, Mez. Appreciate it, family. I want to go to really quick, Uzo. I know you've been here for a while. Did you want to say something? I'm sorry if I skip past you.
MRecktv.
No, I actually just got back in the room, so I'm a little lost.
Oh no, we're just allowing people to ask questions or give, bring something to the space if you wanted to. I know you've been here since the last group. Okay.
No, you can skip over me.
Okay. All right. D Nas. Pardon me if I'm butchering your name.
No, you good. You good. D Nas is all good.
What is it though? Because
it's D Nas.
D Nas. Okay. I respect people's names, so pardon. So D Nas, what's up, family?
I appreciate it. I'm trying not to fan out. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you're good.
I'm a huge fan, right? And this is 15 years later. And so I have a couple comments and then a question. So looking at 15 years later, it's still one of the greatest shows, if not the greatest show. Like Tristan said earlier, Mac Wild said earlier, it's one of the top two and it's not two. We've had some clubhouse rooms on here. I had a room on here one time that says, "What's your favorite TV show and why is it The Wire?" And it's because of the eloquence. You know what I'm saying? It's the eloquence. It's the Shakespearean. It's a very poetic show. You know what I'm saying? Like you have a cat saying something, 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 I suppose. And you're like, I'm not used to niggas talking in the hood, like speaking like this, but it flowed so well. But season 4, I think I always say season 2 and season 4 are arguably two of the most important seasons because you have these introductions of brand new characters. And season 4 was like the introduction and the phasing out of a lot of main staples. You know what I'm saying? Bodie being a huge hit. You know what I mean? Skills put that in the wrap up of 2006. You know what I'm saying? The end of the year wrap up was like R.I.P. Bodie. So I mean, it's crazy to see just how great the show's written. And one of the things that sticks out, and I'm wondering how y'all felt about it, was the razor blade. Shout out to the homie Mari. she helped me come up with this question. The razor blade, when the girls was fighting and she got hit with the razor blade, like how was it, you know what I'm saying, being in that scene and having that scene go down?
Jermaine, it's on you.
Oh, yo, lady, go ahead, boy.
Go get it, bro.
Okay. Well, that was an interesting scene, first of all. It was definitely an interesting scene. And one thing I do like that you said that it was very Shakespearean. Like I kind of got my start in theater first before I started doing film, and I think that's why it was so easy for me to connect with the writing in The Wire, because it reminded me so much of like the stage. It was almost like Broadway before your eyes every single week. But as far as the razor blade scene, it was really
MRecktv
intense, of course. But you know, in between the scenes, we're communicating with the actresses, the actors. So you know, it was definitely a safe space. We knew that we were all quote unquote playing and having fun and doing the work. But it was just a lot to take in for me, and it was kind of one of those moments where I had to grow up really quick, because it's like, why after this girl slices this girl's face open would you go over to her side and kind of offer her a present? But in the same sense, I had to like dig deeper and be like, oh, well, this girl was bullying her, she was bullying me, maybe we both have the same experience. And it was kind of that thing, like I think it was either Van or Mark, they asked the question, like, what did you learn? And Julito said empathy. Like, it just taught me empathy beyond another level. Because it's like, well, maybe she was a good girl that made a bad choice, like Tristan said. You know, it's all about those areas, those shades of gray, literally. Nobody was ever a bad guy on the show. Everyone had a motive for doing what they did, and you kind of understood everything. So in that scene, which was one of like the most intense scenes that I was in, it just was weird that there was this kind of pure innocence at the end of the violence. But I thought that it was really brilliant to be a part of, and I think we had a great time shooting it.
Yeah, that scene was crazy. And sorry, I had just one more question. How does it feel, you know what I'm saying, knowing that no matter where you go, you know what I'm saying, these are roles that like people are going to remember, you know what I'm saying? Like, not in the sense of like Jaleel White being Steve Urkel, but like when you see Denzel in a certain movie, or you see somebody in a certain role, you're like, that's Malcolm X, or you see Alonzo from Training Day, but like people see it's like, damn, that's Michael, or that's, you know what I'm saying, that's always gonna be naming, you know what I'm saying, like how, and Randy and all that. Like, how does that feel to have such profound, like that legacy to a certain degree?
MRecktv.
It's you know, I think it's a gift and a curse, right? Because you never know which way it can go. I think it is based on I guess pretty much what you do after, how you the ways that you're able to build from it afterwards. It could go one of either way. It could be Malcolm X. It could be Steve Urkel, right? It could be one or the other. So I think it's a gift and a curse. You know, this is something that a lot of actors, we all pray for the days that we can actually get a character that we can fully sink our teeth into, that we can really create something game changing. And even if not speaking about the game itself, but something that connects with people on a very, very deep level. It's the reason why we do this. You know, we're in this business to showcase emotions and to see the emotions that people connect to. So yeah, man, I think it's a gift to be able to be in a position to play these characters that will live with us forever. You know, forever they will know the names of Michael, Naaman, Dookie, and Randy. But depending on, and I think thankfully we've all kind of grown out of it. We none of us have been placed with the stigma of, you know, say a Jaleel White. and mind you, he's an amazing actor in his own right. I think we were able to kind of grow out of it, become our own men, or become our own actors, and not be stuck in just one character. So, but yeah, I think for any actor, a role like that is it's a heavy taking on. It's a gift and a curse.
Although I will say I cringe every time I hear somebody call Jermaine Dookie.
Facts.
I think he does too. I think he does too. Yeah,
But I
mean,
don't.
Okay,
I take it as a blessing because, like Tristan said, I was really blessed to be given that role when I was 12, 13, 14, whatever. And I'm 28 years old right now. And 9 times out of 10, if I walk by you on the street, you will not see who you saw then. So I'm really grateful for the gift of adolescence and transformation.
Yeah. For me, I'm just going to share the same sentiments. Gratitude. To be an actor that someone can stop you in the street and notice you. I think what God gave us. It's not for us. It's for the world to experience, right? And it's to heal someone else. It's to give to someone else. You know what I mean? And there's so many great, amazing actors out here who work never gets noticed, right? And there's so many amazing people that are on that stage in those, off Broadway plays, on those Broadway plays that just do the work, and no one ever, for the most part, says great job, right? And it's unfortunate. And I look at the fact that, like Trish said, will be remembered forever. 15 years later, we're still talking about this. We're still able to heal people and love on people and show people that they can do this. You know what I'm saying? When I see young kids from Brooklyn come up to me and they're like, "Yo, bro, I saw you acting and I knew that it was possible. So this is why I'm now going to this acting class." It's unlike any feeling in the world. You know what I'm saying? The greatest things that has happened to me is, number one, have experiencing being a parent. Number two, experiencing God, and then number three, experiencing this work. And that's why I do it. That's why we do it, I could believe.
Yeah.
But thank you for that, D-Naz. Appreciate you, King.
Appreciate y'all. Well,
You already. Ty, what's up, love? Ty, Tye. Okay. So we're gonna move on. All right, this next person is a really, really, really good friend of mine. This is family, actually, not a friend. This is family. She's a Baltimorean. Tia, what's up, love?
Hey, Huli, how's it going?
I'm good. So good to see you here.
Likewise, I'm grateful to be here. Thank you, everyone. So I've been in this room long enough that I think my question has been touched on a little bit. But first of all, let me say the person who didn't deserve to die was Snot Boogie. Shout out to the
Snot
one
Boogie.
Shout out to the one.
If y'all don't know Snot Boogie's the very first episode, very first scene. He's the guy on the floor, but he's also the wardrobe stylist for every season of The Wire.
I'm about to say, hold on.
Did
If you think about
play
it,
Snot Boogie?
Yeah, he did.
Yes, bro. You didn't know that?
Oh no, I didn't.
Snot Boogie was trying to snatch niggas' money off the ground while they was. Well, come on, son. You can only do that so many times before you get clapped.
Boogie, son. You
can only do that so many times before you get shot. Come on.
But
right,
he plays Snot Boogie, and he's also the wardrobe stylist for every season of The Wire. I think he's in. If he's here, we got to find him. But I'm sorry, Tia. Go ahead.
No, you're good. Just wanted to say that, but that's fair. So I wanted to talk about Baltimore as a character. I don't know if I know it's like woven into a lot of what we've talked about today, but specifically focusing on the city as a character. And who I've worked in film for a minute, and so
yes.
When productions come to the city and they're set here, I always have this thought, and so I'm curious to get everyone's opinion on it and see if you all have any interesting perspectives or have had any interesting conversations around it. But so like I love The Wire. I love my city. Like I love my city. And I would be lying if I did not say that it was super annoying to tell people that I'm from Baltimore and then immediately hear, "Oh, you from The Wire. Oh, are you from The Wire? Are you where they film The Wire at?" And I'm like, well, I mean, yeah, probably. They filmed The Wire all over Baltimore. So which part are you talking about? And I have to explain that to people. And it's probably why I'm so passionate about my city, because I always feel a responsibility to show people a different side of the city, right? To show them that we're not just the images that you see on TV. And then, as Max said, that the storylines are true, but it can be a lot to feel like you have to I don't know. I don't want to say bear the burden, but the responsibility of constantly defending your city. And so when The Wire came on, I was in college, like I was in DC. So I was already surrounded by people who were not from my city. Had I been here, I think the reception would have been completely different, but I felt like I was constantly defending it, like loving the show, but then also defending it to people who were not from the city. And that was their first glimpse of what Baltimore was like. And then you have to think about it, like Baltimore also had Homicide. Baltimore had The Corner. So we didn't really have a whole lot to stand on. And I'm wondering, I would love to hear everyone's perspective, or if you've had any interesting conversations around this topic, even if you've worked on other projects that are set place in a city where the city is also a character, and then the legacy, both positive and maybe negative, that the production leaves behind once it's done.
Very, very interesting question. Thank you for that, Tia. Because I always would think about, how do people from Baltimore feel, right, about this story being told in their neighborhood? Because, right, what I'm sure David Simon is like a Baltimorean through and through. He loves Baltimore, right? And of course, he's telling a story that sets place in Baltimore, but I know he didn't say this is just Baltimore, right? He told a story about the world, and I would often think about how do the folks who live in this feel, because of course people who are not from our neighborhoods, who don't know our neighborhoods, they associate, especially at that time, right? They associated drugs and addicts to Baltimore, and it's unfortunate. And at the same time, I look at it like it's our story as a whole. As a person of color, it's not our soul story, but it's our experience. And the show was just an opportunity to peel back the window for you to see what's going on. And I pray that we did y'all justice. You know, I pray that we showed the empathy in the people. I pray that we showed that folks are human beings, right? And there are people who make mistakes. There are people who make choices that may not be deemed as correct or good. But, you know, like if you didn't watch anything on The Wire, but you just watched the story arc of Bubbles, I hope you understand that there are people who are brilliant, smart, funny, amazing people that just got a bad life wasn't fair to them. You know what I'm saying? And you know, I hope that the people in Baltimore understand that, and I'm sure they do to an extent. And I hope you got to see the story of people who are doing their best to survive this cold world. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know if anyone else wanted to chime in, but yeah, I think it's an amazing piece of storytelling. I'm just asking because I'm curious to see, you know, what everyone thinks, and like and the legacy that productions leave behind.
I totally feel what you're saying, especially kind of getting into the space of wanting to now tell my own stories, the narrative and the agenda behind everything is very important. So I feel what you're saying, and like Huli said, I hope that it was a great impact that we had on the city opposed to a negative one. But what I will say, in agreement with what Julito just said, is that if you really look at the bigger picture, it's an American story. It's not just a Baltimore story. It's very much an American story that starts from the top, which is kind of government, and how kind of corruption all the way up there trickles all the way down, and how people of color are the ones that are most impacted. So I would like to look at it as that kind of expose. And I think that, I know what you mean. Like, as soon as you say you're from Maryland, people be like, oh, like The Wire. Exactly. But hopefully, if people really paid attention to what was going on, it was more than a crime show. It was an expose of corruption, overall corruption. So that's just my 2 cents.
Well, also someone brought up Snap Boogie, and I believe someone correct me if I'm wrong, but the first scene in The Wire is them looking at the crime scene of Snap Boogie, and they're like, "Why would we let him play?" And they're like, "You have to let him play. This is America."
It's America.
Exactly.
America.
And then they tell America's story from there. But I could also see how someone could, when you say you're from Baltimore, someone could say, "Oh, that's The Wire," which is unfair to you. But I think it is the story of America, because that's just the first scene from there.
Yeah.
Really great. Thank you, T. I hope we answered your question or spoke on it.
Yeah, no, you all did. Thank you so much. I think a lot of it was growing up, being in college, and then that just being the thing. But then also, I think we've had many opportunities to look at this as a retrospective and assess it and analyze it as adults and in different ways. And so, yeah, definitely. Thank you all for your contribution.
No problem.
Miss you. Move on. Giandra.
Ooh, thank you so much. That was perfect. It is Giandra.
Oh, there we go.
Thank you so much.
Try, Huli. Go ahead.
Man, that was very good. Shout out to people with difficult names. I wanted to ask all three of you, all of the characters are so vibrant and so rich and layered, no matter what side of the spectrum they were on. And when you go into audition, you're auditioning for one thing and may end up cast as something else. If you could swap with any character from any season, obviously you love your character, but if you could swap with any character from any season, who would you want to swap? Who would you want to swap with, and why?
I would love, if I had another chance, I would love to get a shot at playing Avon, because it was just so smart. It was such a different approach to being a kingpin. Like, he moved so smooth. It wasn't your typical kingpin. I love what Wood did, but I love a smart, layered character. Avon was so layered to me. He had the weight of the world on his shoulders. He had the streets. He had his family. He was trying to be loyal in the family, trying to be loyal in a very tough street game. And then his boy is kind of not being loyal to him. So I thought that the character Avon was just phenomenal. In a perfect world, I would love to, I guess, have a go at that.
I don't know. I feel like we all gonna say Avon, and we had this conversation before too, because we just loved Avon's character so much. I think Wood Harris' performance as Avon Barksdale was underrated, and we should be talking about it. And if you're an actor, and I'm sure there's so many actors in this chat right now, especially for the men, go and watch Wood Harris's performance as Avon Barksdale, please.
Masterful
So
performance. Masterful performance. NYU trained, Tisch trained actor.
Masterful for sure. So if I had to think of someone else, I liked Bodie. I think Bodie's character was I think his story arc was just so good, man. To see early on in the show how he's this young kind of corner boy to then seasons later he's more of a lieutenant, and then he's season 4 he's on his own and has to be a lone ranger out here in these streets trying to figure it out, and then his demise, right? And also, if you look at it, if you look at it, how sad his story is, man, because there's no out in this game. You know what I'm saying? There's no win. No one wins. You know what I'm saying? What do you say? Nobody wins. One side just loses slowly.
Slower. Yeah.
One side just loses slower. You know what I'm saying? And I think that quote is just for Bodie's character, man. He was a loyal. He was a hustler. He was that guy that you want on your team on the front lines with you. And JD, I'm trying to get him in here, but he doesn't have a he doesn't have an iPhone.
Jesus Christ.
Speaking of which, my brother Trey Cheney is here. Poot. I just found him. I knew I was gonna find somebody. Trey, when you get in here, what's up, my brother?
What's up, bro? What's going on with you?
What's up, everybody? Shout out to Trey Cheney. He played
Trey
Poot
Cheney,
for
what's up, man?
What's
4 or 5
what's
seasons.
up, Jermaine? What's up, Mac? I see everybody in here, man. I hopped on real quick. You know, this junk buzzing all over the internet right now. What's up with y'all, man?
We good, brother. Just talking to Wire, man.
Yeah.
Yo, Trey, so she asked, I hate saying she, excuse me. Giandra asked, if we, yeah, no problem. If we could play a character that we didn't play, who would you have played? Who would you play if you wasn't playing Poop, bro?
God, man, every character was so lit on that joint. I gotta say Weebay. Yeah, because I mean, I know I had originally read for Weebay, but you know, they gave me a lot of sides for him, and I kind of fell in love with that character as well. Also, Marlo, Jamie Hector as well.
Ooh, and I have well. Oh, Mac, you didn't get a chance to answer.
Okay. Man. Marlo is one for sure. Marlo is definitely for me up there because he was there was something so like strong, like everything that he did was so strong, even down to like the jail scene. Like, yo, he's out there talking on my name. Like, you understand, my name is my name. Like,
my name is my name.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Goodness gracious. So it would either be him or and I don't even think I could step in this man's shoes, but Proposition Joe.
Wow.
There's something about being the smartest man in every room.
Yeah.
And he every scene that you watch, he holds himself in such a way that he felt like, oh, all right, if I have any questions about anything, about how anything works, Prop Joe knows.
Yep.
So yeah, those would be my two choices.
Thank you so much.
Oh, can I ask just a real quick one? What's one scene you guys were hyped that was going to air? Like, we see the trailer, what's going to happen next week. After you shot it and it was finished, were you like, oh my God, I can't wait for people to see this?
That's a really good question.
Good
question. Trey, go ahead, Trey. Because you was on to what? Well, how many seasons? All 5, right?
Yeah, all 5. And it's so funny that she asked that because the scene where I end up changing my life and working in Foot Locker, I couldn't wait for everybody to see that I was one of the, first cast members that started with the show and one of the last cast members that ended with the show without getting killed. You know what I'm saying? So it was
you
great,
made it.
man.
You made it.
Survived the game.
Yeah.
I'll say for me, there's so many. Shit. Damn. I think the very first episode, you know what I'm saying?
Same.
The piss balloons, man. That whole little few scenes, it was so fun. Like, and I was just I was so hyped for people to see that. Right when I went to throw the piss balloon, it exploded on me. Because I knew everybody was going to die laughing,
bro.
And it was going to be a moment, you know what I'm saying? And it was it was the time where you got to experience kids being kids, to say the least, right? You got to really see before we went into this world, and all four of us went into our own trajectories, and shit got crazy for us. You got to see kids just being kids, and I was excited for people to have that moment just for a bit before we turned their worlds upside down.
Yeah.
Tris,
man, Jermaine, you first. I'm still
Nah,
thinking.
he took mine. Mine was the piss balloons because I mean, come on, I wanted to be an actor. We had a whole action sequence. Niggas was on bikes. We running around corners like I was Will Smith in the moment. That was my favorite.
I was a mini action sequence.
Yo, it was that ass. That shit was like, it was a bunch of it was fire. To that scene, to start that scene off, for me, like, and hit him with the, yo, you know that nigga go by the name D's who D's nuts, and hit them both, snatch the bike. And again, you know, I'm a New York nigga, so I always try to like throw in my own little subliminals, nigga, to throw the
big B's up there,
to throw the Goonies up, the B over the I. Yo, everybody in my neighborhood, I went home. Everybody in my neighborhood went crazy. But my scene, I don't want to take Cooley's scene. My scene, the scene that I was excited to see was when we threw paint on the cop. When we stole a ring. Yeah, it was something about that scene where you're starting to see how Michael deals with having a certain level of power over somebody. That was like, for me, just being a kid, I'm like, yo, son, I got this nigga's terrified. He's on his knees, hands behind his head. And I'm like, yo, don't even look back. Look. Bah! And son, it was that scene. I was like, I can't wait until everybody sees that. I know not only as an actor, but everybody back home is going to be like, damn, Matt killed that.
Yo, so let me tell him a quick story about that scene, the funny part. So the first time we did that scene, so remember, my character's the one that throws the paint on. The first time we shot it, I didn't realize how heavy the can of paint was going to be. So we did the scene, and I go to throw the paint on him. I threw the entire paint can at his back.
Literally in his spinal cord.
It's so bad. And I felt so bad. And you know, I hate that I forget his name, but Officer Walker, he was a big dude, like 6'5", built, you know what I'm saying? And he was in pain for a little bit after that. I felt bad.
Hold on. I'm not gonna lie. He held it down for the tape. Like he took that heavy ass 5, 6, 7, 8 pound paint can to the spine. Like he took it like a G, kept it going until they said cut, and then damn near hobbled off like he got sacked or some shit. The shit was crazy.
It was hilarious. And his character deserved it. So like, you know, choose the characters wisely that you play. Now I'm playing. But Giandra, I hope we got to answer your question, and thank you for being with us, love.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right, Trinika, what's up, love?
Hi, yes, and you got it right.
Come on, man. Listen, public schools, y'all gotta respect public schools, man.
No, most people get it wrong. So shout out to difficult names like Giandra said. But my question is, were there any challenges as far as separating reality from the show? Like how y'all were kids growing up and doing this, and even though you're taught like this is a stage play, or you know, were there any instances where like a rough scene had happened and it was kind of hard to decompress from that, or where you were kind of channeling your character unconsciously in real life?
Not necessarily. I don't think any of us really had to, you know, we used our experiences to support our characters, but I know for me, I never really had to. I never had to look at my personal life and look at Neymar's life together. Besides when I answered earlier around that scene with me and my Miss Sandy Delonda, I think if you grew up in any inner city, if you grew up as a young Black man, you share regardless if you experience it or not, you share the plights of naming Randy Dookie and Michael. You share those plights regardless if it's your story or not. Because when you go in the street, the people that don't look at us, they're going to cast us as them, right? That's just what it is. So for the most part, I felt for naming, so I was able to I wasn't naming, but there's a lot of namings in my neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? There are a lot of namings in Flatbush. There are a lot of namings in Glenwood, in Brooklyn, and all over the world. So, we were just able to use our experiences of young Black men to bring to the characters to life.
Yeah, I don't think I think that a part of it is just a testament to Robert Chu for teaching us ways to kind of create the pathos of these characters without having to do too much of a deep dive into their psyches. It's not like where something like the Joker, where you have to kind of live with the character to kind of breathe it. They had a weird way of just showing us subtle nuances that the character had to make it as real as possible, and just compared it to our actual life. So again, we didn't realize a lot of the times we didn't realize what we were doing with a lot of these characters until very later on. Funny story. So for anybody who is who watched the show, there's a scene with Michael. It's after his father has just been viciously beat down by Chris Partlow's character, and he goes into the living room to look at his mom. All of the lights are off in the house except for the living room. She's sitting there smoking a cigarette and she's upset. Looks at him. He looks at her, smiles. He's walking away. He turns around and sticks his tongue out at her and walks away. Now it's a subtle thing, very, very subtle. And it's something that, on the day was probably one of the only ad libs that we were doing. And it's because I forget who is directing that episode, but they came up to me and they were like, yo, you got to remember that, although Michael has this tough exterior, Michael's a kid, you just think of this as like your mom told you couldn't have something or took something away from you, and you found a way that you can have it without her. Like there's a way that you can have what you wanted without her having to kind of know it. So just kind of live in that. And the one thing that just stuck out to me is, especially thinking I'm a kid, I'm 13 years old of a kid, a kid gets what he wants, especially from somebody who he doesn't look at as a mother. He looks at her as a peer. This isn't, you're my mom. Of course, I'm going to respect you as my mom, but you're my peer. Like, I make sure that the house is together. I make sure that my little brother is doing everything. So again, you get something from a friend who said you couldn't have something and all of a sudden you have it. You're probably going to stick your tongue out at them. You're going to feel a certain way. But it's little things like that you don't realize until way later. Like, oh shit, I'm looking at the psyche of Michael completely different now.
There we go. I hope we got to answer your question, Tranika. Okay.
Yeah, you did. Thank you for that.
You're very welcome,
no problem,
love.
no
You're
problem.
very welcome. Bud, what's up? I pray I get Bud right. It would be Bud that I don't get right.
What's going on, fellas? Peace.
What's up, man?
Chilling. Well, first, I just wanted to come on, listen, and then it's crazy to actually get a chance to listen to folks talk from one of my favorite TV shows. Like, honestly, one of salute to y'all for that. I remember because I'm from Camden, New Jersey. Y'all said it's like similar. It's an American story. Camden and Baltimore are literally the same place, just a few exits away on 95. But I remember this came out when I was like middle school, going into freshman year in high school, like that 04-05 space. And I remember just me and my family would get together and watch it. And it started off at the corner. So that was my preface to this. I was watching the corner very early, mind you, and then got into the wire. But one thing that I really latched onto were just the different stories, how each character's story, if you follow from the corner and then the seasons throughout the wire, seeing like the character growth and the development. So the question I had is for all of you guys, and mostly I'm gonna call him Dookie, my fault, Dookie and Mike, Tristan, is after that part when Mike kills Snoop in the car, he beat her to the punch. He packs up his little brother and Dookie, and they go. He takes his brother to his aunt's house, then drops Dookie off with the bums, with the with the garbage dude, and then Mike goes on. If we had to create another season after, where will Michael's story pick up? And then also flip side for that, what does Dookie's story look like now after after that happens and he's down with the trash dudes? That's something that I was always curious about, because those were the two I really enjoyed, that relationship, how Mike would defend Dookie, especially at the gym. You lay hands on Naaman and just like small stuff, bringing him around. He noticed his skill. So if you guys had to say, where would Dookie's story pick off in the next season, and as well as Mike?
I feel like, well, Dookie definitely would have started off with like some drug addiction issues. I mean, that's literally where we left off. He probably would have been out in the streets really trying to get himself together. I mean, I feel like it would have gone kind of along the route of what I know. The actor that played his name was Rashad. I'm not sure if the character's name was Sherrod or Rashad. It was a weird thing where the actor's name was actually one of them.
Bubs.
But
his name is Bubs.
No, but his nephew, remember?
His real name is Rashad. His character's name is Sherrod.
Oh, the one that smoked the bad drug or whatever?
Yeah.
Yes. I feel like it kind of would have went along that route where it's somebody that's really young in this really mature environment, and it's either going to go extremely left for the worse, or, I mean, I hope Presbo would have came to his senses, but, just knowing the world we live in today, he probably wouldn't have. But, yeah, I mean, I think it would have been a really tough, gritty, kind of drug addicted like story for Dookie, because that's pretty much where it was left off.
Word up.
For Michael, I think there's I was joking about it before, where Michael would be stealing specifically from the people who are frauding the government out of stimulus checks. But I think that is sort of Michael's archetype, right? He is, if you think about how Omar is somebody he's not robbing everybody. He's robbing the people that he knows doesn't need or deserve the money that they have. And I think Michael was still very much would be in the same vein. The last time you see Michael is robbing Marlowe's old quote unquote bank, which was Vincent at the rim shop. So yeah, I think Michael would be he'd be the shadow. He'd be a shadow. He'd be the shadow of Baltimore that everybody is kind of afraid of. The new version of Omar coming. He's the guy that you don't want to see on your doorstep, because if he's there, he's here to collect. So yeah, that's to me, that would be where Michael winds up.
That's deep. I think for Dookie's sake, someone else mentioned it, that it was a show that didn't really need another season. But just like as somebody who was into it, I just always was wondering that. I think for Dookie's sake, in terms of integrity with his character, it didn't need another season. But I think that if there was a follow-up, I think that would be the coming of age of Michael, or where he steps out of this kid-like persona and like really leans into it.
Yeah.
For sure. Thanks for your question, Bud. Appreciate that, family.
Appreciate y'all.
Again, just to give y'all context of what's going on, this is a conversation with the cast of The Wire. I started this room because I felt there are a lot of people who would hit me saying they want a room for The Wire or have questions. So I said, let's do it. And I brought my brothers Jermaine Crawford, who played Dookie for the last 2 seasons, Mac Wilds, who played Michael Lee for the last 2 seasons. We have Etienne from Filming While Black, as well as all the other amazing things he does, supporting us with moderating. Christina Hammond-Wiles is here as well. We're really grateful for all of y'all joining and being part of this. This is really special to us. The show is special to us. And I'm, as we can see, it's special to so many people across the world. So thank you so much for being here. And we're going in an order, right? If you have a question down below in the audience, really sorry, but this is the last few people that are going to be able to ask questions because we've been rocking for quite some time.
Bro, we've been on here for well over 5 hours. This is crazy.
4.5 to be exact. 4.5 to be exact. But I want to be mindful of people's time, so I want to say thank you to everybody.
If you're looking for a new streaming service, the streamboss.com is the place for you. And you can also get $5 off if you use the MRecktv promo code. It's $20 for the month. So we're gonna go into that commercial real quick.
You hear something?
Have you guys heard of StreamBoss? It's a new IPTV provider that gives you over 5,000 channels for only $20 a month.
Oh, cool!
$20 for live TV, local TV, movies, TV shows, pay-per-views, and so much more.
Huh? What?
If you have a Fire Stick, smart TV, or streaming device, then head on over to thestreamboss.com to begin your setup process.
Know you're the plug and such. You a joke's bound to happen if you slipping or you lacking. I'm gripping on the matching, ready for the action. Shots to make you break dance and have you do a backspin. I got more kicks than karate flicks. My whole team pushing Maserati whips. You on IG liking thotty pics. Shorty pocket broke, but her body fixed. Peace, world. To promote your music or promote your business by placing an ad on MRecktv, contact MRecktVpromo, MRecktVpromo @gmail.com. Peace. Oh yeah, subscribe to MRecktv, youtube.com/MRecktv. I'm gone. MRecktv. It's got a music.